Alright, we got more no combo from Triad Wars 15, round 2. This one is Turdz versus the Cloaked One. And let's take a look at the hands. I was hoping that it would scroll down. Did I really not scroll down? No, I must have just had this on in the background, so it never scrolled down. The bottom two cards are 5525 and 1555. So Turdz has chosen three cards, 6732 or 6741, that are right on the average of 18. 7741, he thought it was worth taking a 7/7 as level 5 for a cost of 19, and he has 17 points left. He did not go for a 6632 like Smokes did. He does not go for a 7541 like Deli did. He went for a 5552, which has some 7 coverage and some ability to just plus or plus wall stuff with the repeated numbers. I've never thought these were very good cards, so I think it's an interesting choice. But it may also be something of a just card to get rid of in the hand, right? But it wouldn't be my pick for a card to get rid of, right? It's not like the other cards play particularly well off 5s. So to me, this is an interesting choice. The Cloaked One also went for a 1555. What does the hand add up to? 1555 is 16, 7344 is 18, I guess that's average. 5744 is 20, so that's currently 1 over. 7742 is 20, so that's 3 over. And then 725 is 6. Did I add up wrong? 7742 is 20. 7252 is 16, so this is currently 36. 5744 is 20, that's 56. 7344 is 18, that's 74. And no, it does add up. Okay. I just miscounted. Alright, let's see how the game started. Turdz goes in 9, and Cloaked One immediately takes, which seems very risky to me. In general, this is a game of who can lock in more cards, and now Turdz actually has a bunch of choices of how to sort of lock in cards, right? 5525 and 7, both 7 and 8 are safe. Cloaked One would have a chance to lock in 6, but it would be 2 locked in cards to 1, and Turdz would be on the move and able to attack whatever Cloaked One puts on the board. Or Turdz can play 3, 2, 7, 6, and 6, being the first to lock in a card and creating a threat in 5. The downside of that move is if he does use 2, 7, 6, 3, and 5, he may run out of downward power. You could easily imagine a game going 6, 7, 5, 4, and suddenly, like say, but maybe there's always coverage, because 7741 hits 7s facing up, and a lot of Cloaked One's numbers, so the only card that's all that safe is 5744. So maybe there's a little freedom to maneuver there. I'm not sure what I'd pick between 6 and 7. I think both are appealing. Both Turdz can play for the win. If I remember right, I think the solver said one of them was winning, and I think that's the one Turdz played. But looking at it now and not really remembering what happened, both these moves look very appealing to me. My usual assumption is if there are two moves that kind of in a no combo game give me the same safety advantage, right? Going in 6 gives me 1 safe card and they have 0. Going in 7 gives me 2 safe cards, but they'll be able to get 1. I usually take the one that's going to lock something in. On the other hand, from the lines I've looked at, I've kind of liked 5525 and 7 more. So my calculation says 7 and my instinct says 6. I'm going to declare victory whichever one turns out to be better. Hopefully you didn't hear my stomach make a weird noise there. Alright, Turdz plays 6. As I recall, the solver said this was the correct one, so kudos to Turdz for playing highly precise triple triad. And I believe that means it said this was winning. Now, Cloaked One, I guess the standard thing to do would be go 7, with the idea of maybe, but the side to side in Cloaked One's hand is really difficult. But okay, kind of the idea would be play 7-2-5-2 in 7 and 2-3-6-7, but they play 7-7-4-1 and 4. Yeah, this is tough. Maybe you still sneak out a tie at the end there? I'm not sure. Let's see what happened. All right, they go 5. So, okay. There are 3 critical squares to check. Occasionally there's moves in 2 and 4, but usually those rely on combo being in effect. So 1, 3, and 7. The Q, or 3 or 7. In general, in no combo games, 3 and 7 are the more appealing options. They're both easier to calculate because capturing is more forcing, but also they immediately lock in an extra card and remove your opponent's opportunity to block those squares. So the move that jumps out is 5-5-2-5 and 7. You lock in all of 7, 8, 9, and it seems really hard not to win there, right? Anything in 4 is weak to 7-7-4-1. 2-7-6-3 controls anything they can put in 3. And also, just as importantly, 5-5-2-5 is the weakest card in our hand against their hand, right? It's the card that's most likely going to be, say, dead going down. It has nothing to do in 1, 2, or 3. So if we can find a use for it while leaving our other cards good for the remaining squares, that seems the way to go. And I think that, I suspect that's what happened. Yeah, Turdz goes 7. I don't think there's a way to save this for the Cloaked One at this point. I think there were kind of 2 problems this game. One was being a little bit capture body, just taking cards when the opponent now has the chance to take them back and lock them in. Like, the rule of evens and odds is very relevant to no combo games. In fact, much more relevant than to combo games. Which is to say, if a card faces 2 squares that are, it's vulnerable to an even number of squares, you usually don't want to be the one attacking it because the opponent can lock in from the other square, right? 2 quickly becomes 0, and that card is safe for your opponent. If a card has 1 vulnerable side out, you probably either want that to be yours and really hard to take, or if it's theirs, you want to take it immediately. And if we look at how Turdz played this game, right, he starts with a starter, which has 2 weak sides. He is not intending to play next to it. Well, I guess he is because Cloaked One's hand also has a down problem. So it has 2 weak sides to Turdz, who will recapture if needed, but it only has 1 weak side to Cloaked One. So Cloaked One feels some obligation to do something about it. Now, I don't seem to have a position where you can just see the starter, but my instinct as Cloaked One, instead of going in 8, would be to go in 3, specifically with, say, 7-3-4-4, setting up that you have a capture in 6 with 7-2-5-2 and have a capture in 8, right? You then have captures in both squares. Right now you only have a capture in 1 square, and if you take it, Turdz follows the rule of evens and odds. He sees it as 1 side out facing, so taking it can lock it in, right? And Cloaked One, seeing I only have 1 way to attack it, should be looking to make it so he has 2 ways to attack it. So Turdz locks in. Cloaked One captures, but it doesn't lock in anything, and it sets up 2 cards that have 1 side facing out. Turdz looks for the better one to lock in, but he's immediately looking at 3 and 7 to lock something further in. He takes 7. At this point, I think it's over. Cloaked One goes in... I think it was 1. And Turdz goes, okay, I can now lock in more cards from 4. Cloaked One takes the plus and 2, but Turdz has a capture at the end to win 6-4. And I think very cleanly won by Turdz here. But also just an example of, I think capture bot play has more potential with combo on, because if you start forcing opponents to take by overpowering, if you have combos at the end of chains, if you can set up pluses, like that plus and 2 that Cloaked One set up, it can start flipping a lot of extra cards, potentially. It wouldn't appear, but it could in other cases. But with combo off, it just lets the opponent lock things in too easily, and Turdz took advantage of it well.